Many calling the news that Rhode Island will hold its 2 seats in the House of Representatives as the census surprise. Rhode Island has had at least 2 seats in the House since the 1790 census.
Though this investigation began more than a month ago, it was announced just this week following an open letter from the former medical director at the Zambarano unit in Burrillville that alleges patients are being discharged when they shouldn't be to save money.
Hey, good evening. Providence police say they're preparing for any possible protests that could come with the verdict of the Derek Chauvin trial. And some business owners say, like police, they're hoping for peaceful protests.
We have seen a police presence around the city and especially right here at the State House tonight, who said they were prepared to respond to any civil unrest if there might be. Of course, that did not end up happening. Reporting in Providence, I'm Laura Puglisi, ABC 6 News.
Serious crash in Taunton. It happened at the intersection of Tremont and Shore Streets. Police say a Chevy Silverado was traveling south on Tremont Street when it collided with a Honda Civic that was traveling north. Both drivers were rushed to the hospital. No word on their injuries at this time. The accident remains under investigation.
All hands on deck fighting a house fire tonight on Thatcher Street. That call came in just before 7 this evening. By the time firefighters got there, look at that heavy smoke and flames coming from that home. Crews had to be called in from outside towns. North Attleboro and Seekonk were called in to help. The 2 people who lived there, that's just the good news, they were able to get out safely. The cause of that massive fire is now under investigation, but again, no injuries tonight at this house fire in Attleboro. Breaking news right now on 11 at 11. Police investigating a shooting just hours after a murder on the same street. What we know so far.
This happened right on Atlantic Avenue shortly after 8 tonight. Providence police really not saying anything else tonight, but say the victim was taken to Rhode Island Hospital. The investigation is still ongoing. You're taking a live look at what's happening now. The flames broke out about an hour ago, so at 10 o'clock, it's just after 11 right now, so it's been happening for over an hour.
Hey, John, yeah, we're here on Airport Road. I'm going to step out of the scene for a second to show you what's going on right now. As you can see, it looks like a car and motorcycle have collided here on Airport Road. We still got a good amount of law enforcement, and the fire department is still here.
We're in Pawtucket on Narragansett Park Drive. I'll give you a look behind me. It's a very active scene now. We're still trying to learn more information. You can see there's responding crews from Pawtucket, Attleboro, North Providence, Lincoln, and many others. Now, we have confirmed with the Rhode Island Department of Emergency Management that this is an active hazmat scene. We're still working to learn more. Again, myself and our other crews are going to stay here to work to bring you the latest. Just stick with us for any updates. Live in Pawtucket, Olivia DeRocha, ABC 6 News.
Now, I know you just saw that surveillance video I obtained, but I wanted to give you a closer look. So these are the steps that man in that video was sitting on. He was sitting here for a very short time when he noticed the woman across the street get out of her car, leave it unlocked, and that's when he himself walked across the street, got into the vehicle, where the 2-year-old was sitting in the back seat. Thankfully, when he drove off, police were able to find the vehicle shortly after. The 2-year-old was safe and sound when they found them. But tonight, I also spoke with residents in the community who said they are happy to hear that everyone was okay, but the search for the man responsible continues.
Brooke, really a sad night out here tonight. Providence police confirming this was a mass shooting. 9 victims tonight in the hospital, at least 3 of those critically injured. Now, we'll give you another look at the scene right now. You can see it's still very active here. Police say they have a long night ahead of them as it's still very early on in this investigation. Now, Providence police say they were called to Carolina Ave just around 6:45 this evening. This is in the Washington Park area of Providence. Multiple callers were reporting several rounds of shots fired. Police also say they received multiple calls for vehicles leaving the scene, and 10 minutes later, many calls for victims showing up to Rhode Island Hospital. Providence police say 8 of the victims drove themselves to the hospital. The other victim was transported by EMS. Tonight, Providence Police Chief Clements speaking out to the community.
These are groups that we are familiar with. This is not random. It was targeted at that address, and as well there was return fire.
Brooke, another sad night here in Providence, another night with more gun violence. We're learning just moments ago from police it was a 25-year-old male they found dead in this parking lot. Now, think about last night. Mayor Lorza was just pleading hours ago to the city to stop this gun violence, and now here we are again. This is the 8th homicide of the year here in Providence. Now, again, just 24 hours ago, about 3 miles away on Carolina Street, when 8 people were wounded last night in the city's largest shooting in years. Now, here on Pope Street, there is still limited information right now. We do know a 25-year-old adult male was shot to death. Police were called here about 2 hours ago around 9 o'clock. Police officers, residents, and Mayor Lorza here trying to figure out what led up to this deadly shooting. Now, again, it is still early on in this investigation, but investigators do not believe last night's event and tonight's are connected. We'll give you another look at the scene right now. Again, this is still very early on in this investigation. You can see it's a very heavy police presence here. Of course, we'll keep you updated with any more developments. Just stick with us online and on air. Now, Mayor Lorza also saying tonight there will be extra patrol in this area to make sure all of the neighbors feel safe. We're live in Providence. Olivia DeRocha, ABC 6 News.
Yeah, Brooke, the scene is now clear and police are back here after a chaotic day in a neighborhood where 2 people died, including a teenager.
It was like that. Scared me.
Sheila Pyers, standing outside her home, says she could hear the shooting around 4:30 in the afternoon. Police say they found a 29-year-old man and a 14-year-old boy shot on a sidewalk on 5th Street near Griffin Playground in Fall River. They were taken to the hospital and died. A third man shot in the leg drove himself to the hospital and is still alive.
I was going crazy. I was crying.
Pyers says after hearing the gunfire, she ran inside her home.
When I ran in the house, I made sure the baby's sleeping and the baby's on the bed.
Outside, emergency responders swarming into this neighborhood. Fall River Police Chief Jeff Cardoza.
I know officers were involved in some foot chases after.
Police didn't release too many details during their news conference, with the mayor of Fall River offering brief remarks.
It's a very, very sad day in the Corky Row neighborhood of Fall River. It makes no sense to say it's senseless because everything like this is, and we can do so much better in Fall River.
And as of this hour, the names of the suspects have not been released, and we also don't know the names of any of the victims. A witness calls emergency responders after spotting an overturned sailboat that took on water and sank near Patience Island around 3:30 this afternoon. The Marine Task Force and Coast Guard responding to the call.
And 2 victims have been recovered from it.
Those 2 victims, a man and woman in their 60s from Warwick who did not appear to be wearing life jackets. As of now, the relationship between the man and the woman is unclear.
Unfortunately, things like this happen early in the season. Check your boats before you put them in the water. Make sure they're structurally sound. Make sure they're ready to go. Make sure you're wearing life jackets. All your safety equipment's checked out.
As of tonight, the boat is still in the water after emergency responders recovered those 2 bodies, bringing them to shore at the Oakland Beach boat ramp. Investigators saying the cold water could be a factor in these 2 deaths.
It's too early to determine, but that is a factor in a lot of these cases. It's, 65 degrees out today. It seems very warm. The water's still 50 degrees.
As of tonight, it's unclear how the boat turned over or if there was any distress signal sent from anyone on board. In Warwick, Darren Botello, ABC 6 News.
As we continue to mark the first year since the pandemic, the city of Cranston having its own memorial service Wednesday night to commemorate the lives lost in the city.
And I feel their energy, and I feel the energy of our community leaders and the people around me fighting, unifying, collectively getting together to have a conversation to create positive change in their honor.
The service coming after the Cranston City Council passed a resolution a few weeks ago, introduced by Councillor Anise Germain, proclaiming the first Monday in March as a COVID Remembrance Day and establishing that they must hold a memorial ceremony.
It's a somber night.
Many of the elected officials who spoke saying they are overjoyed people are getting vaccinated, but cautioning people against getting complacent with the virus.
While we know that there is hope to be had, we must not lose sight of the loss that has taken place. Our future will be brighter. As always, one Cranston, one heartbeat.
So far, the virus has killed almost 140 Cranston residents. Those present tonight remembering their friends and family.
Showing their support for the lost ones. So that's something that I'm very appreciative, and I'm pretty sure the community will appreciate it too.
This would mean the world to them, that they're not forgotten about. You know, they mattered. The city recognizes it, and it's just a beautiful thing.
One of the city councilors saying at the end of the ceremony that she hopes tonight they began a tradition that they can return here each year at City Hall to commemorate the lives lost in the city due to COVID-19. In Cranston, Brittany Comack, ABC 6 News.
Yeah, some pretty scary moments yesterday here on Admiral Street. Police say that 11-year-old girl was playing in her backyard when that man came into the yard and tried to pull her away. This is 50-year-old Glenn Chamberlain. He's accused of trying to kidnap an 11-year-old girl outside her home on Admiral Street.
This is scary. This is bad. This is really bad.
Neighbors around Admiral Street disturbed after police say Chamberlain grabbed her arm while she played in her backyard.
I have all my grandkids here, all 7 of them at some times, and my yard is the neighborhood playground, so that's pretty scary.
Just scaring a kid like that is awful.
According to the police report, Chamberlain threw away some trash into a can at the end of the young girl's driveway before looking around the yard. After he tried and failed to grab her, she ran into her home and told her mother what happened. The mother alertly ran to the window and was able to see his vehicle and get his license plate.
I'm happy she got away safely. You know, I'm sorry that happened to you.
I couldn't imagine, especially being in that situation, being manhandled by a man, older, bigger. She must have been frightened.
Based on the vehicle description and registration, Providence police eventually tracked down the white Hyundai Accent he took off in near the intersection of Douglas Avenue and Vesey Street.
Now I know that I need to be really on high alert. I'm definitely going to be outside more and paying attention to who's driving by and walking by.
And once Providence police detained Chamberlain on Vesey and Douglas, they brought that 11-year-old in to identify him. That's when they brought the 50-year-old in to custody. Live in Providence, Darren Botello, ABC 6 News.
Family members of the victims in last night's mass shooting rallying outside Rhode Island Hospital tonight. They say they've been kept in the dark about how their loved ones are doing, saying it feels extremely unfair and stressful to not have any updates more than 24 hours later.
As uncles, mothers, fathers, it doesn't matter what the relation is. They're not releasing no information. And as human beings, you have a right as any kind of family to know if your relative is going to survive the night or not.
Family members we spoke to say change needs to happen to stop incidents like this from happening. They suggest increased activities like making more basketball courts and even creating job opportunities to keep kids away from guns.
Starting tomorrow, bars can reopen with a maximum of 4 people or 2 households sitting together, and there has to be space or barriers in between each party. Customers will have a 90-minute limit, and bars must close at 11 p.m. Staff at the Providence Oyster Bar over on Federal Hill say they cannot wait to welcome back guests.
Al fresco dining now back in action on Federal Hill. It was definitely a hit. It started last year. Restaurants setting up tables and chairs along Atwell's Ave so they could stay open when the pandemic prevented businesses from seating people outside. Well, so many people love that they're doing it again this year. And we were out on the Hill tonight, and on the heels of Rhode Island announcing it's doing away with masks for fully vaccinated residents, restaurant officials, as you can imagine, are thrilled.
It is huge, and people are ready. Looking at what we have tonight, the reservations after 7 o'clock tonight are through the roof. Tomorrow through the roof. Mother's Day that just happened this past week, it exceeded the reservations from 2 years ago in 2019. The public is ready.
The city of Providence will shut down a portion of Atwell's Ave every Friday and Saturday night from 5 to 11 until at least October. Mayor Lorza hoping to make this an annual tradition for the city.
All right, Tim, thank you for that. Well, a special edition of Good Night Lights happening tonight. The light show put on not only to wish a good night and sweet dreams to patients at Hasbro Children's Hospital, but to also honor Blake Costa, a young boy from East Providence who recently passed away from brain cancer. A caravan of police cruisers, fire trucks, and cars making its way down I-95 tonight through East Providence to honor the young boy. We spoke to his parents, who are grateful for the show of support.
The love and support means everything.
Blake loved Goodnight Lights. It was something we always used to do at the hospital when he was there. It's something we want to just do something in his memory, something that he loved to do, but also give back to the hospital and to show the kids out there that, you know, people are out here looking out for them and want to say goodnight.
That's really great. Today marks the 1-year anniversary of Blake's passing.
It has been snowing off and on for basically, 36 hours now? And now, just in time for the weekend, it is starting to finally tail off. Earlier tonight, though, plenty of people out enjoying a Charlie Brown-like moment at the skating rink tonight in downtown Providence. Really looking good, although that young lady just took a little fall. Thanks to our ABC6 News photographer Ethan Lopez for getting these picturesque shots of the city. We take a live look of the beautiful city of Providence and the pedestrian bridge on this spring night. Enjoy that for a second longer. Boy, that looks nice. We take a live look over Fall River tonight. We're showing off Heritage State Park at historic Battleship Cove. Look at that shot. Ethan Lopez, fantastic job. I'm sure plenty of people enjoyed a nice walk there along the river today.
The sun setting on Somerset as Seekonk traveling up to face Somerset Berkeley. Week 3 of the Massachusetts high school football season here. Big day for SB's Dylan Rodriguez. Breaks a tackle, gets to the sideline. Look at this stiff arm. Rodriguez off to the races. One of 3 first-half touchdowns for him, putting the Raiders in front in the second quarter. SB facing a 4th down, but the Seekonk defense stopping the QB for a loss, taking over on downs. But this day belonged to the home team. Somerset Berkeley clings to a big first-half lead, getting a 38-0 victory.